Hi friends, it's Sergey with you. This is the YouTube channel Assistance TV, and in this video I'm going to tell you about DIY projects for open water fishing. These will be very interesting DIY projects from the old days, and some will be modern ones. I hope they help simplify your fishing, and with them you'll catch as much fish as possible. I won't bore you. Now we will begin. Let's go, friends. The first thing I want to talk about is a homemade crayfish trap made from reeds or rushes. The clip-on crayfish trap. Our grandfathers used it, our fathers. We fished along the shore in open water when the crayfish come out in the spring. This is the simplest and most effective, you could say, a catch-friendly DIY project for fishing. All we need to do is break off a good sturdy thick reed, not broken, not rotten guys, not decayed, so it should be very strong. Next we need to measure from the bud and cut it using a utility knife. Our reeds are exactly in a circle. I recommend doing this specifically with a utility knife because if you use something dull, you'll just end up crushing the edges and it will turn out all messed up. After we are here, everything is cut exactly. We take blue electrical tape, definitely blue, it is the most powerful. And here we measure about 20 centimeters from the bud and wrap it very tightly around that area. After we've wrapped the duct tape, we need to split our reed right down the center. We split it, and as you can see, it starts to crack, and it cracks right up to our duct tape. That's why we were twisting all of this. So, the trap is almost ready. All we need to do is break a dry stick, not too thick, or you can use some matches. I recommend it's better to use matches because the sticks might be weak and they might not hold our crayfish trap. But if you ran out of matches or you don't have any, you can simply break a stick that's about 3 to 4 centimeters long. But if you ran out of matches or you just don't have any, you can also just break a stick that's about 3 or 4 centimeters long. What do we need this stick for? For those who don't know, we simply open up our reed and insert our stick here, like this. And our crayfish trap is completely ready. Let's imagine that this cork is our crayfish. So like a crayfish, yeah, we see it, there it is, our sleepy crayfish. We take our crayfish trap, and only like that, the stick falls out. You see, the crayfish gets pinched between the reeds. The next DIY project is going to be very simple, but first a little introduction. In spring we all start fishing with silicone lures targeting predatory fish, and we all know that the water is murky and the fish really start biting only in the morning or in the evening. She has a little break because the daytime is getting much longer now. So in China this is already very common. Friends in the Celestial Empire, they've been making freelance lures for a long time. They glow, they absorb light, and there are even ones with light bulbs, batteries, and so on. Now I'm going to tell you how to easily make a cheap lure that glows in the dark in just a few minutes. So what are we going to do? We take our silicone fish and make a small hole in the bottom. If our jig head is going to be on the surface, then we go slightly down. Of course, this silicone should be, like mine, about 3.5 to 4 inches. And probably most of you have already guessed that we're going to use a regular glow stick. A regular glow stick. Now we carefully push it into the body of our fish. The main thing is not to damage our fish, but it should stay in there. Guys, it's pretty tight. After we've done everything, you can't even tell that there's something inside the lure. Just a small hole, that's what it reminds me of. I want to clarify right away, we don't have it set up. The task is to set the brightness of a bright flashlight or some kind of LED crystal. That's not right. The lure should barely glow. It's exactly this slight glow. That will be enough for us. There are baits that are completely transparent, and they will glow really well. And these bright baits will also glow really well. Firefly. We put it in whole, we didn't break it. That's the main thing. Now when we go fishing in the evening, we take out our fish. We know that inside we have a firefly. Or we just put it in there right away. Yes. We just take it, break it right on the fishing trip, guys. We take it and break it. OP. The fish is soft. Nothing happens to it. And our fluorescent firefly starts to glow. And believe me, in the evening this is a very useful life hack. You can see well, and the fish will really see your bait from afar. If the light is dim, barely noticeable, the fish won't even be scared of it. Friends, the summer season is just around the corner, so you need to choose a tent for fishing. Specifically a fishing tent, not just a tourist one, but a fishing one. For that, as always, I go to the e-catalog. The e-catalog itself doesn't sell anything. It just collects all the websites on the internet and shows you prices and specifications. To help you out, guys, tourism and fishing. Let's open all the sections and go to tents. We're choosing a tent, doing an advanced selection. Of course, something is already being shown to us here. So to speak, people were choosing. I made it to the top, we choose the purpose for fishing, we select the summer season, and we choose, guys. Now, I've honestly already picked out a little tent. This is a Ranger, although there are a lot of different tents here for every taste and color. I like the Ranger with its top visor. Well, damn, it just, it touched my heart, so to speak. Let's see. There are a lot of photos. The tent is visible from each side. The full specifications are there. You can see what is made, the number of internal window sections, and of course, this price is different. In different online stores, there are options for 10,800, 12,800, and there are even some for 8,000. You see how different they are? Let's compare this tent with the two-person Ranger and see how they differ from each other. Because on the surface, the characteristics look almost identical, and the price is similar too. The price varies by several thousand in different online stores. That's quite significant. I would say differs from the number of places by weight. They differ. The number of windows. The material. The main thing is, there is nylon, here is polyester. The external size of the tents is different, and they also differ in the number of compartments, meaning there's an inner tent, you could say a tent over a tent. In this way, with the help of the catalog, you can choose any product for yourself, starting from a laptop. Finishing guys with fishing gear as I do, I constantly buy myself a feeder reel, and all this can be compared. And all of this can be chosen at the best price using the e-catalog. The link will be down in the description, so go ahead and check it out. When spring arrives and the water starts to warm up, the first fish that bites for us is the sunfish, in the shallow areas near the reeds. Guys, now I'm going to give you an idea on how to make a bobber from a wine cork. It's going to be very simple, great, and you'll be able to fish for sunfish very effectively. As you know, there's a saying, a fisherman and a hunter are poor workers. It probably applies to all fishermen, so I won't be honing my crafting skills right now. I won't be sanding anything down. I'll just show you how. You can just take this raw blank and make a bobber from it, and then implement this idea. How do you want it? Sand it down. Shape it into any color and so on, you get the idea. We have a regular cork made of cork wood. Guys, with a champagne cork it doesn't matter, and we cut it. Strictly in half with a utility knife, just like our reed. So here in the center we've split our cork into two halves. Next we need a small piece of wire. We bend it in half, so that we get a small loop here, a little ear so to speak, and this ear, we pinch it together with you. We can leave it like this, or if you want, we can thread a swivel through here and cast it. Right here, exactly in this little ear. Next, we need to take our cork and place it, like this along the edge. And here make a second bend. And again, if you want, we thread our swivel through the second loop on the other side. Now we take the cork and place our blank onto it. We can see that everything is turning out great. And to glue the cork well, it's necessary to make a small indentation in the center. I'm going to do this using a saw. We take it and make a small indentation in the center of our cork. Friends, let's carefully saw it. A little bit. We've made the indentation. Now when we place our blank in there, it fits perfectly on top. The second cork really tightens this up nicely. When you connect them, it fits perfectly between the corks. Everything is just right. It holds well. I'm repeating myself once again. I'm just showing you the raw blank, and you can make it either half the size or grind it down more. You can give it some shape. This pop-up bait will work well too. On light spinning rods with a test of up to 10 grams, it will cast really well like this. The weight of the cork is enough for it to fly well. But if you want to cast really far, it should be as heavy as possible. Your pop-up bait, I recommend making a few more holes and adding some lead weights in there. So we can take 2 lead weights of half a gram each, our cork, and just make additional grooves in it. We'll just carve out a small indentation. We've made 2 small indentations, and our balls fit in there perfectly. As most of you have already understood, all that's left is to place our blank on top and glue our second piece of cork. I always glue similar things together using regular super glue. It's quick, guys, and quite reliable. And to achieve maximum strength, you can wrap the whole thing with fishing line, and then pour super glue over it. Just the same way. Then you won't even be able to bite through it with your teeth, no matter how much you want to. Well, here's the simple DIY project we ended up with. I hope you'll replicate it, and add your own creativity, paint it, shape it however you need. So guys, spring is primarily the time for predators. Now I'll tell you how to make traps with your own hands. You can also use the old method. Set them up along the shore and watch them from the side, or leave them until morning. And come in the morning, I have an axe in my hands because first of all we need to chop a stick, at least 1.5 to 2 meters long. Next we need a piece of any hose or plastic pipe about 10 centimeters long. Our task now is to cut this off somewhere like this, guys, and using a knife we remove all the burrs. And next our task is to make 4 holes here. Here opposite each other, just 1 hole. And on the other side, it's all very simple. You can make the hole in just a few seconds. We made the holes opposite each other. Now we need to make a cut a few centimeters long in the pipe, perpendicular to the holes. Again, using a utility knife. What are we doing now? We take regular fishing line, thread it through the hole in the pipe, and pull it out from the other side. I have so much blue duct tape with me right now, but I recommend it to you. Stick the red duct tape here, or any other tape. Like this in stripes, so you can see when the pike is unspooling. A man suggested this set line to me. I met him in winter. He told me about her in detail. Those who watch my videos, guys, know that there is an ice fishing rod for this, and you can also fish with it in the summer. This is a common setup for pike, which is very simple to make and quite effective in its action. In short, what can I tell you? If you have colored duct tape, just take it and wrap it around here in a few turns. On one side we have a fishing line tied to us, and on the other side it's just a piece of some rope. Well, about 30 centimeters, just a small piece. So this is what it turned out like. A regular rope is tied on one side, and on the other side there's the fishing line. We wrap this fishing line on top of our duct tape. The fishing line should be, guys, well, depending on the depth where you're fishing, maybe 5 meters, 15. And the task of your fishing line is to cover it completely. So this duct tape, so this is the simplest rig, and most of you probably know about it and fish with it. Here you can use something instead of a pipe. A rubber hose, you can use a rope instead of a fishing line, anything. But the main thing is that at the end, there must definitely be a treble hook and a weight, to sink our bait. After we wrap all this up, we insert our fishing line into this slot that we made. This is a microfloat, here it is, which we made, and it will serve as a stopper for our fishing line, meaning it will fix our depth. When we have a bite, the fish just pulls and unravels the line. Seryoga, you explained everything beautifully and in detail, but tell me, why do we need this stick, this little stick? Why did we chop it at the beginning? That's right, guys, this trap is set up like this. This is how you attach it, and it hangs for you. And where will it hang for you? That's right, along the shore. How do you do that? You take the stick, drive it into the ground, and the end of the stick sticks out. And then you take the end of the stick and hang this trap on it. Like this. The rig itself is very simple and effective to use. If you've never fished with a set line, I recommend you give it a try. Very effective. And another effective trap is a crayfish trap made from a plastic box. I made it earlier, so I don't want to repeat myself, but guys, I'll just show you how I made it earlier in my videos. This is also a unique rig that can be made very cheaply. You can buy boxes for just a few cents, make these crayfish traps, throw in some bread and garlic, set them up along the shore, and catch a ton of crayfish. This is a passive trap that doesn't require you to walk along the shore with a crayfish trap for every crayfish. So, how did we do it with the clothespin? Did you just throw the bait in there? So to speak, they threw it into the water and came. The next day, we pulled the crayfish out of there. In short, it's all simple. The box has 2 sides. This one is long and this one is narrow. First, we need to cut out the narrow side in the shape of a P. We don't touch the bottom. Right here along the frame, you can do this with anything. I'm going to use this kind of hand tool. I sawed off this side and this is how it turned out. Now it can fold inwards. If you take a look, it actually folds inwards. We're going to do the same thing with this end now. We've cut out the ends, and now they fold like this, inwards, like this. And now we need to just trim off all these little protruding parts. These just bite them off. You can do this with some kind of tool, or you can just saw them off. And now our task is to bend it, and we need to saw it off. Here's the frame. If you look, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, so I also cut this section out in a P shape. Here, here, and here. Once we've sawed off the 2 sides, we cut off the top frame. In this case, right here. Our crayfish trap is almost ready. We need our edges. Now wrap it inwards like this. And tie them together with wire, so that everything turns out like this. I think it's all pretty straightforward here. Did you understand that we need to make this kind of entrance for the crayfish on one side, and the same entrance for the crayfish on the other side? The crayfish trap is completely ready. As you understood. What about these side walls, which we now have at an angle? The crayfish crawl in here and stay inside. They can't get out of our trap. All that's left is to tie some ropes here and attach it to a stick or branch, then lower this crayfish trap down or just toss it from the edge. Just lower it into the water and put everything in the middle like some bait, garlic, bread, rotten fish, anything really. And you can make a lot of these crayfish traps, guys. And it turns out to be quite budget friendly. It's a very simple, effective DIY project that can be made in just a few minutes. Well, I don't know. About 5 minutes. I spent it on that. Well, that's pretty much it. I ended up with such a simple collection of DIY projects. If you liked everything, like, subscribe, send your homemade products, guys, write about them in the comments. And in the next collection, I will definitely use your DIY projects. Guys, thank you very much for watching me. Neither a tail nor scales to you.